It's Monday, October 23rd, 2023. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Quick announcement, tomorrow, Matt from Ox Talks will be on the show. We're going to be at the range tomorrow. We're going to go train for about 4 hours. Ladies and gentlemen, it's so imperative that everybody now is walking the walk. So we're going to go to the range, train 4 hours. I'm going to put some of that video on Facebook and possibly X. So look for it on X, look for it on Facebook. I know that we're not really allowed to put that stuff here, so go check out X, check out Facebook. Should be pretty interesting. So we'll talk to Matt tomorrow about his concerns about what he sees happening with society and what's happening with the U.S. economy, what's happening in the Middle East and all that stuff. And we'll go out, get a few hours in, and again, I'll put that on X and Facebook, so make sure to check that out. And I'm doing this because I want everybody to be doing the same. I want everybody to be getting in better physical shape, mental shape, spiritual shape, financial shape. But tomorrow, we're going to take half a day and just go out and train. It's so imperative with everything that is taking place between the crime wave and now the eruption in the Middle East. You've got to be able to protect yourself, your assets, your family. This is not going to just be financial warfare, ladies and gentlemen. We are looking at societal warfare taking place right now in America as you see a country extremely divided. More news today on these eruptions taking place in cities across America. And you've got to, look, nobody's looking for trouble. Nobody's looking for a fight. But you've got to be able to protect yourself. And some of these articles today I'm going to share with you. The first two, let me start with this first one. Flight diverted to Portland over credible security threat. Off-duty pilot charged with 83 attempted murders. So now, earlier in the past couple weeks, pilots were warned to maintain vigilance and heighten situational awareness. We talk about this every day. You have got to be exercising situational awareness. Now, this pilot was hopping a ride on another flight back to his home base, and he was sitting in what they call a jumper seat. And this is, I believe, in the cockpit. He was sitting behind the captain, and it says a first officer. He was hitching a ride back, and this dude tried to shut the engines off on this plane with 83 people on this plane. Now, they don't know why he did it, but this is very odd. I've never heard of anything like this in my life, but thank God for these pilots because they were situationally aware of what was going on. They were able to stop this, prevent a horrific atrocity from taking place. But this is unbelievable. I've never heard of anything like this. And earlier today, I'm watching this mob shutting down a Minneapolis street. Big protest going on and more escalation taking place right here in the U.S. Now, watching the video in Minnesota, people were stopping traffic. They were assaulting vehicles and people in those vehicles, jumping on cars, breaking windows, attacking drivers, and just this complete mob mentality just took place. And I'm watching these people running down these 3-lane roads to this intersection and assaulting people. And could you imagine, like, what would you do if maybe you had your 2-year-old baby in that car and 18 people, you're locked in traffic, you can't get through this intersection, they're breaking your windows, maybe going to hurt your child or your children? What would you do? You got to start thinking about this stuff. This stuff is becoming reality every day. People never thought about being in these situations. I'm sure the drivers of these vehicles, as they were probably driving to work today to go earn a paycheck, to pay their high taxes, to support all this nonsense, while they're driving to work, they get stuck in an intersection. And the cars that they work so hard for, they probably have a look like maybe one of them was even a Tesla, probably $1,000 car payment. And the car they work so hard for is being just destroyed from people who probably don't work, don't care about your life, your children's life, your vehicle, anything about you. They just seek and destroy. But think about if you were in a situation where somebody was trying to harm your little babies, your children, or even yourself. What are you going to do? You resort back to your training, ladies and gentlemen, and most people are going to resort back to nothing because they're not going to know what to do because they have no training. And what if something happened to your kids and you couldn't stop it? I mean, you got to start thinking about how you're going to protect yourself and your children, because these type of people that did this, if they can run across intersections and stop traffic, what stops them from just coming to your neighborhood and kicking in your door and coming into your house? What would you do? I mean, these are things we all have to start asking ourselves. Wolfstreet.com. Spectacle ensues after 10-year Treasury yield pierces 5%. 5% this morning. Huge demand piles in. Yields plunged 19 basis points within hours. Did somebody just flick a switch? How does this happen? How is this even possible? Where did the demand come from? Was it investor demand, or could it quite possibly be the Fed? 19 basis points. This is a lot of money. I mean, think about that. Just within a couple hours, the 10-year yield dropped almost 20 basis points. Hedge fund manager Bill Ackman, too much risk in the world to bet against bonds. He said he removed his bet against long-term treasuries. Now, when he came out and said that, I believe this is when we saw all the action in the bond market take place. Another article here, yields collapse as Ackman tweet triggers massive CTA bond buying. Now, this is the same gentleman, I believe, who got bailed out by the Fed on his bad bet on SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, Valiant, Herbalife, Target, and I believe Netflix. I think he's lost a lot of money, but people like this get bailouts. So he can come out, think about this, one person, one man can come out and make a tweet and cause the 10-year bond yields to decrease by 19 basis points within just a couple hours. Think about that. This isn't rigged. This isn't manipulated. Now, I'm not saying it was all because of him. Maybe the Fed was in there buying it all up. But I find this interesting. Yet, this is another gentleman who was bailed out by the big boys, by the Fed, another person who's lost a lot of money. Yes, he's very wealthy, but he's lost a lot of money. But, you know, I guess you can gamble when you know if you lose, you're going to get bailed out. But we'll see what happens in the bond market. I think the bond market is in very, very big trouble, no matter what Bill Ackman says or does or tweets. Here's another one today. Worst to come, home sales slide. Far from over as Goldman sees sustained higher mortgage rates. I don't know about you, but if you know anybody in the mortgage industry, they're getting absolutely decimated. This industry is dead on arrival. And if you're in the mortgage industry, you're probably, if you're smart, you're looking for another job right now, because you're going to see years of decimation in the mortgage industry. Home sales, lowest in 27 years. This is the most pronounced impact we have ever seen in housing. And it's going, the impact, they say, will be worse in 2024, according to Goldman. Now, they could be wrong. Maybe they're right. There's so much information, so much news out there, you don't know what to believe. We're watching the continued action in the Middle East. I'm going to tell you, honestly, I don't know what to believe at this point. I really, really don't. There's just so much happening behind the scenes. There's so much money that's been funneled behind the backs of the American people. Who knows what's really going on at this point? Daily Mail. Rite Aid, CVS, Walgreens will shut down more than 1,500 stores due to crime and competition, leaving millions without health care or jobs. They forget to mention jobs, tax base. What is this? Who owns these 1,500 stores? Most of these stores are leased by companies that are financing these commercial buildings, that lease these buildings to Rite Aid, CVS, and Walgreens. When they don't have a tenant, who's making the payments? Who lent them the money? Well, more than likely, Banks, regional banks. And nobody, you watch these financial shows daily, and nobody is talking about the commercial real estate depression that is taking place right now. Nobody's talking about the 1,500 vacant stores that are coming. Nobody's talking about the office buildings and the hotels that have just completely closed and are worth less than what they've sold for 5 years ago. Nobody's talking about that. So Rite Aid's going to close 150 stores, CVS 900, Walgreens 150. There's a lot of people that work at these stores. How are they going to make their monthly payments on those credit cards, the rent, the autos? This is the most obvious financial crisis that nobody sees. It's unbelievable. The signs are everywhere. Peter Schiff was talking about this today. The signs are everywhere. He said, remember, Wall Street has a vested interest in ignoring this. When it happens, no one is going to blame the government. They're going to find a scapegoat. Now, that could be another country. It could be a foreign bank. It could be a war, whatever the case may be. They're going to find a scapegoat, and they're going to blame it on that. In the meantime, when you wake up that day and your 401k is wiped out, your investments are wiped out, your purchasing power is wiped out, your pension's wiped out, you can blame whoever you want to blame. It's too late at that point. And so what's it going to matter whose fault it is? What matters is, can you survive now? What you can get to is all you have. What you can physically touch is all you own. And most people have absolutely nothing. You know, if the economy is so strong, how come we have these leading indicators that are so weak? Record debt, record credit card debt, record credit card rates, consumers drowning in debt. We have commercial real estate collapsing, as we just mentioned. Consumers are having a very difficult time to borrow money because rates are so high. I just looked at an article today. I don't have it with me, but I was looking at it, and it was showing that now the average credit card rate is 28%. 28% is now the average rate. I'm out today. People are driving around. People are out eating. They're throwing the plastic around. You know, 589 million credit cards floating around in the back pockets of Americans. People are still on a spending spree. People cannot stop spending. People are fighting this collapse. They're fighting this depression right now. They don't want to give in. People don't want to downsize. They don't want to adjust their lifestyle. They don't want to give it up. They're going to continue to spend while they have the ability to do it, no matter how that is. No matter how much debt they take on, they're going to continue to support this lifestyle that they've grown so accustomed to. And Americans have never really felt the pain. You know, today, you think about, you know, a starter home. People now have to have a 3,000 square foot, $500,000 starter home, 4 bedrooms. A married couple needs 4 or 5 bedrooms. They need a 3-car garage. They need a Lexus and a BMW. And I think that there's a lot of blame to go around. Yes, I do blame the government, the banks, the easy money, but I also blame people because they've given into the temptation. They got suckered, they got fooled, they got bamboozled into this. They took the easy free money, and now they're realizing that there's a huge price to pay here, that there's nothing free. And so people couldn't control themselves. So, you know, when you throw that cheese onto the mousetrap, the mouse just cannot resist. And so the blame is going to go all over the place. The cheap, easy money, people taking that cheap, easy money, just wanting these lifestyles that they really normally wouldn't be able to afford. And so now as this economy continues to falter, as people continue to lose jobs, as inflation goes up, as those credit card rates continue to go up, as those mortgage rates go up, people are coming to the realization that they're in big trouble. And yet many people just are going to continue to use the credit cards and just go on with the party until the whole thing crashes. It's absolutely amazing. But there is blame to go all around. People must have self-control, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. People have got to have self-control. Why? I mean, look, if you can afford it, you can live in a 10-bedroom house, you can drive, the most expensive Mercedes, the most expensive Lambo, whatever. If you can afford it, God bless you, you deserve it. But people are going broke trying to look rich. They're going broke trying to impress people they don't even know. They're going broke trying to impress family members. I mean, think about it. Why would you need 4 or 5 bedrooms for 2 people or 1 person? People are putting down 3%, 5%, 6% on a house, massive house payments. They never think about an emergency, medical bills, a spouse losing a job, they losing a job. And yet most of these people have no money. We know that the statistic here is almost half this country doesn't even have $400 put away. How in the world does anybody think things are okay when half the country doesn't even have $400 cash? Now, they might have $40,000 in credit card lines of credit, but what happens when they can't pay that back, when they begin to say, hey, I can't even make the minimum payment here? What happens when the credit card company says, hey, we're shutting you off, you've missed 5 payments? What happens when those credit cards run out? It's going to be big trouble. That's when reality hits, ladies and gentlemen. That's when people can't put gas in the car. That's when they can't make the rent payment. That's when they can't go out to dinner. That's when real life begins. Freight brokerage bubble. This company Convoy is now winding down operations, will be closing. It's a freight broker. It says here, more brokers are next. Many more sizable freight brokers will be shutting down. Why? Because of the financing climate. It's been fueled by venture capital and asset-based lines of credit. So now that it's much, much more expensive for these brokerages to borrow money, as the price of these loads, they've gone down literally 50% from 2 years ago. So there's less product to ship, prices have gone down, the cost to borrow money is going up, and so we're going to see more freight brokers closing down. This is not a good sign. This obviously tells you and I less freight brokers means that people are buying less goods at the stores. So not a very, very good sign for the U.S. economy. Markets, Dow Jones down about 200 today. We were down across the board. I believe the NASDAQ was up a little bit. Bitcoin very well today, about $2,000 up. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes with Bitcoin. A lot of rumors of why it's going up. I can't confirm any of that right now. So we'll see if it lasts. Remember, Bitcoin was about 70,000, so I think it's about 30, 31,000 today. Very, very nice day. Don't get me wrong, did very, very nice today, but we'll see if it can hold it. The volatility in crypto and Bitcoin has been just absolutely crazy. But again, I'm not really that excited about it because think about it. It was almost $70,000, so it's maybe $31,000 today. Now we'll see if it can maintain, grab some traction. Again, there's a lot of allegations of things going on behind the scenes, so we'll see how it all plays out. But it's going to be very, very interesting as things continue to escalate in the Middle East. And again, we have no idea what's really going on behind the scenes. We have no idea what we're going to be waking up to, but as the Department of Justice, the FBI have been warning that they're getting more calls. There's more concern about violent acts taking place right here on U.S. soil. So please, I beg of you, please be careful out there. Get your training in. Make sure that you're being proficient with those tools that you're training, not just with the tools, but at the gym, getting yourself in the best possible shape possible. So much is happening. I can't even believe where we're at right now here in 2023. The things that we're talking about, the things that we now are dealing with that I never thought as a young person we would ever see happen in this country, and here it is. And at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, there is no government, no bank, no law enforcement. There is nobody coming to protect you. So this is the time to get as independent and as self-reliant as you humanly possibly can. That is the best advice I can give anybody today. Walk close to God and get out of the system the best that you can. Be as self-sufficient and independent as you possibly can. If everybody did that, we would have a much stronger nation. We would be a much stronger people. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what gender you are. It doesn't matter what religion you are. It doesn't matter what you believe in. You need to be a strong, self-sufficient person. Have a good day. Stay safe. God bless.